I have a rule about bookstores. I don't go in with a list. I go in slowly, without a destination, the way you walk through a place that was built for wandering. Saturday afternoons, when the teaching week is finished and nobody needs anything from me. I walk the fiction aisles just to see what the world is reading. I have been doing this for 20 years. I know the Fairmark booksellers on West End Avenue in Nashville the way I know my own classroom. Which shelves hold the small imprints? Where the staff picks live. How the afternoon light falls across the new releases table. I was not looking for anything on that Saturday in February. That is the Part 1 keep returning to. I was not hunting. I was not suspicious. I was a woman reaching for a spine. The title caught me first. The Meridian Girls. Pale blue cover, serif type, the kind of design that tells you what shelf a book thinks it belongs on. I pulled it down and turned it over to read the back. Carol Whitfield. I stood still in the middle of that aisle for long enough that a woman with a stroller had to excuse herself twice to get past me. I did not move for her the second time. I remember the music. Something with strings, playing from a speaker near the registers, at the volume stores use when they want you to stay without noticing why. I remember the weight of the book. Trade paperback. 287 pages. $16.99, with a price sticker on the lower right corner of the back cover. Because I did not need to read the summary to know what happened in that book. I wrote it. My name is Maya Osei. I teach 11th grade English at Caldwell High School on Hillsborough Road in Nashville, Tennessee. 12 years. 94 students a semester. Every year, on the first day, I tell them the same thing. The hardest and most important thing a writer can do is finish. I know exactly what it costs to say that. Because for 7 years I could not do it myself. I started the novel in the summer of my 3rd year of teaching. 3 women in a small Tennessee town in the 1970s. Their friendship, their silence, and the thing between them that none of them ever said out loud. I called it the Meridian Girls. After Meridian, Mississippi, where my grandmother was born. That title came out of my own bloodline. It was mine before it was anything. I wrote it in school breaks. On Sunday mornings before the house woke up. In the back booth of a diner on 12th Avenue South with 1 cup of coffee going cold beside me. 11 drafts over 7 years. I kept every version. Every timestamp. Every email I sent myself at 11 at night when I had written something I was afraid I would lose by morning. I also kept the emails I sent to Carol. Carol Whitfield was chair of the English department when I was hired. She had published a novel 15 years earlier. Quiet, well-reviewed, regional award, modest sales. In the small economy of a high school faculty room, that made her something close to a god. I respected her before I knew her. By the time I knew her, I trusted her without conditions. She was generous in the way certain people are generous. It cost her nothing and it made you feel seen. She remembered details. She asked the follow-up question. When I told her I was writing a novel, she leaned back and said, I want to read it when you're ready. And I mean when you are actually ready, Maya. Not when you think you should be. I believed she meant it. I sent her the first 3 chapters in the spring. A Word document, unencrypted, attached to an email with the subject line, tell me if this is worth continuing. She replied 2 days later. 4 paragraphs. Specific, generous, the kind of response that makes the work feel real. She said the 3rd chapter was the strongest thing in it. She said, don't change a syllable of the opening. It is exactly right. I did not change a word. I kept writing for 3 more years. I sent her chapters when I had them. She retired quietly the following year, a small cake in the faculty lounge and a card everyone signed, and after that we drifted the way colleagues do when the building stops holding them together. I assumed she was enjoying her peace. Standing in that store, I opened her book to chapter 3. My hands were shaking hard enough that the paper made noise. I read the opening paragraph. Then I read it again. Then I said it out loud, quietly, in the middle of a bookshop, because I needed to hear it in my own voice to be certain of what my eyes were telling me. It was word for word. My syntax. My rhythm. The specific way I build a sentence toward its last word and then leave that word standing alone. 3 words changed in a passage of 212. Road instead of highway. Morning instead of daylight. Stayed instead of waited. Nothing else. I bought the book. I wanted the receipt. I wanted a record that I had stood in this building holding this object on this date. The woman at the register asked if I had found everything I was looking for. I said yes. I drove home along West End with the book on the passenger seat, face down, the way you carry something you have not decided what to do with yet. My husband was in the kitchen. He asked how the store was. I said fine. I went into the second bedroom where I write and I closed the door. That is the only lie I told anybody in this entire story, and I told it to him. I opened my sent mail and I searched her name. 47 emails over 3 years. I scrolled to the spring of my 5th year of teaching and there it was. Tell me if this is worth continuing. I opened the attachment. My 3rd chapter, 9 years old, exactly as I sent it. I put my laptop beside her hardback and I read them together, line by line, the way you read something when you already know what it says and you are only confirming that the world is as wrong as you think it is. 9 years ago I asked the woman I trusted most whether my work was worth continuing. She never answered that question. And then I went back to my inbox, because I wanted to read her 4 paragraphs one more time. I wanted to see her being kind to me while she was already doing it. I sorted by sender. 47 from me. 12 from her. 13. There was one more. Sent 3 weeks after I gave her those chapters. Still bold in my inbox. Unread. For 9 years. She had hit reply on the wrong thread. That is all it was. A woman in a hurry, answering 2 people in the same minute, and one of them got the other one's message. I know exactly why I never opened it. It arrived the same week as her 4 paragraphs, and I had already read the one I was waiting for. It was addressed to a literary agent in New York. The subject line said, "New manuscript. Exclusive review attached." And attached to it, in a file with her name on it, was every word I had ever sent her. Part 2 drops tomorrow. Subscribe. Don't look away.